kids, guess what time it is? It's story time! Yay! I am Jonette Weiss, your host of HartsLight Kids Storytime, and also an international best-selling author of the Giggles in My Heart series of children's books. Today, I have a very special guest with me here on HartsLight Kids Storytime. This is the place where kids can shine bright. So I want you to give a big welcome to my guest, Phillipa Warden, who has written a book about Ruperts Snowman. Do you like to build snowmen? I love snowmen. And I like to build snowmen and snow women and snow kids. So Phillipa is going to share her book with us this morning or this afternoon. Welcome, Phillipa, to HartsLight Kids.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Would you like to tell the kids what inspired you to write Ruperts Snowman?
Of course I will. I'll share that with you. I wrote Ruperts Snowman after a day in the snow here at our cottage in Cambridgeshire in England. And we had a snow day and Rupert was so excited because he got to have a day off school. And so we built a snowman and we made some snow angels and we had snowball fights and we took our hot chocolate with us, exactly as it happens in the book, which I'll read in a little bit. And we built a snowman on the top of the hill. And at the end of the day, he didn't want to leave his snowman behind.
Aww.
He was really upset. He was 4 at the time, and now he's a big boy. He's 11 years old, and he's downstairs watching a Star Wars movie. But at the time, he was just 4 years old. So his snowman felt very, very real to Rupert, and he felt like he was a friend, and he didn't want to leave him on the hill. So what did I do? I chased him back up the hill and I followed Rupert and we had to take the snowman apart. And so we very, very gently took the snowman apart and we took him back home on the sledge. And then not only did we rebuild Frosty, as Rupert had called his snowman, we also built a snow family for Frosty. And so that was the inspiration. It's a true story. And each year I ask my 2 children, because I've also got a lovely daughter called Emma, who is 17 now. And I ask them to write a story or some writing, and we have a Christmas newspaper. And we always put this, all the exciting events of the year in the newspaper. And then we look through it on Christmas Day. And we've done this ever since the children were tiny. And I asked Rupert to write the story. And he wrote a small pamphlet, which I wish I had with me now, but I don't. And he wrote a little pamphlet and he drew stick people and Emma helped him. And I just thought that was such a nice story that I then made it into my Christmas card and I illustrated it then. And then 2 or 3 years ago, a very, very good friend of mine who I've known since I was 5 years old, a best friend of mine, she's still my best friend, asked me to give the story to her niece who was illustrating at university. So university, she was studying illustration. And she took the story and she made it into a beautiful picture book for me. And when she sent it back to me, I thought, well, this stands a good chance of being published. And I've always wanted to write a children's story. And we sent it to the publishers and they really liked it. So it was based on a true story.
Oh, that's
It is
awesome.
a true story.
That's awesome.
So that's the story behind it.
True stories are just the best. They are really, they're so much fun. They're so much fun.
And then we sort of plumped it up with some additional, bits and pieces to make it really fun for the children to read and so yeah, it was nice.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for telling us the history of Ruperts Snowman. Are you ready to read it for the boys and girls?
I would love to share it with you. Yes.
All right.
So,
go right ahead.
It was Christmas Eve. A blanket of snow had wrapped the hills and fields that lay about the cottage. Rupert stood at the window, flapping with excitement. After breakfast, his mummy rummaged in the garage for the sledge. They packed a rucksack with a flask of steaming hot chocolate and some ginger snaps. They wound their scarves around and around until they could just peep out and set off to the top of the hill. Stopping sometimes to make a snow angel, the two made their way to the top. Rupert began to roll the fluffy snow to make the best snowman that had ever been built. It stood almost as tall as his mummy. They used stones for the eyes, nose, mouth, and buttons, and they pulled at the bare sticks in the hedgerow for arms. It was missing something. A hat. Rupert drained the last of his hot chocolate from his cup. He popped the cup upside down on the snowman's head. A dribble of cocoa looked like hair. It was perfect. The snowman watched as the pair sledged down the hill, had snowball fights, and decorated the winter wonderland with angels. When it was time for lunch, they raced down the hill one last time. The snowman seemed to be waving goodbye in a slight breeze. "Who will look after Frosty?" Rupert said, tears welling in his eyes. "The birds, the mice, and the deer tonight," came the reply. "We can't leave him." And off he flew, racing back up the hill. And he threw his arms around Frosty and whispered his plan. Together, they rolled the last of the 3 snowballs onto the sledge, carefully laying the twigs and the stones beside them. Rupert squealed as he rebuilt Frosty next to the apple tree. He built a snow sister, a snow dog, and 2 snow kittens. And just before he went to bed, Rupert looked at the scene lit up by the flickering light of the log fire through the living room window. An entire snow family to keep Frosty company while Rupert waited for Father Christmas to arrive.
Ah,
The
that
end.
was a delightful book. Thank you so much. Okay.
That's an absolute pleasure.
We're going to.
Did you enjoy that?
I love it. When you said he built a snow family, I was thinking a mom and a dad and a sister, but he built some animals. So that's great. I love those cute snow animals. That's an
Also, everybody's family is different, isn't it? Everybody's idea of family is different. So this is a snow family, with snow animals too.
So is that's such a great lesson for the boys and girls. Is that the lesson that you would like them to share with them?
I think it's one of the lessons I'd like to share with them, that no matter how your family looks, it can be your family. Mm-hmm. And everybody's family is different, and everybody's different. And I like the way that Frosty can be anybody. He's made of snow, so he can represent any person whatsoever. But the thing that keeps Frosty alive is the love, and the love that Rupert shows for him. And I think that the idea that this snow person is very real to Rupert, and it's the care and the attention that he pays, and he finds it like a real friend. When I spoke to Rupert afterwards, he did say that he felt that it was a friend at school. He just didn't
That's
want to leave them.
awesome.
He didn't want to be there and obviously in the current climate, not leaving people out in the cold is a
Mhm.
great lesson.
That's a
You know,
great lesson. That's a great lesson
yeah,
for the kids, but also for the parents. The
for the
importance.
parents as well. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
And also another thing is I mean, I was the mum in this story, but I just think that any parent that takes even though it seemed a bit, to me, it was quite surprising that he didn't want to bring the snowman home, but to take it seriously, you know,
Mhm.
to take his sadness seriously and to respond in the way that you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for not only the book, but for some great lessons in how we can be better people and be better parts of whatever type of family we find ourselves in, and how we can use our thoughts and our imagination to make things real for us. And
Yeah.
it's really what's in our heart and what's in our mind that creates what's real for us. And that's a great lesson as well. So thank you so much. Where can the mom and dads buy this book for their kiddos?
So they can buy it at bookshop.org and Barnes and Noble in the States and Amazon, of course. And
Mhm.
over here in England, it's at all good bookshops, Waterstones and W.H. Smith's
All
and
right.
all sorts of stores. It's if you type Rupert Snowman into Google, it comes up. So
Great.
yeah.
So your book is easy to find, and I can tell why. It is a hot book on Google search. So that's great.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Kids, what a great story. And thank you so much to Phillipa for sharing it with us. And if it's snowing outside, I think that you might be able to convince your dad and mom to get a cup of hot cocoa and go outside and build a frosty yourself.